Hey guys, this is Jennifer, and this is the Jennifer Allwood Show, the podcast where you learn how to create a beautiful home and build a creative business. Grab a cup of coffee, find a cozy spot in the house, and let's chat. I'm excited you're here. Hey everyone, welcome back to the podcast. I'm excited to chat with you today. And today we're talking about trash talkers, naysayers, backbiters, and other people who, honey, they just aren't for you. They just aren't for you. And so, listen, it would be great if business and life could be completely separate, but that's honestly not the way that it works. And things that you go through in your life or things that happen to you personally in your business, they affect your business. So we're going to talk about that today and things you need to remember and things that you need to make sure you're doing and not doing so that we can bring honor back in business. So first of all, this podcast is sponsored by my very own Inner Circle, which is reopening just for 48 hours on June the 27th and 28th. If you don't know what the Inner Circle is, you can go to jenniferallwood.com/inner circle and find out all about my personal coaching group where I coach business owners on how to grow their social medias, on how to grow their platform online, and how to grow their mindset and their relationships so that they can be successful. So I'd love it if you joined us there. So listen, friends, I put a post on Facebook earlier today because in that Inner Circle coaching group, I have the honor of talking to so many business owners, both in the group and offline, about the things that they're struggling in and the challenges that come up in their business. And it's never really a surprise to me when a lot of the challenges and a lot of the surprises are people problems. They're issues with being wounded by people saying things, by people doing things. It's feeling like people are against you and it makes you want to quit. It's never a surprise, only because I've walked through this myself and have gotten to the point where I'm really no longer surprised by people, honestly. It's not that I've given up on people. I don't know that I'm shockable anymore at this point. And so I always try to do my best to lead some precious, usually women, through the emotional process of the different things that you need to remember when people are talking about you and your business. Maybe they're spreading rumors. They're trying to stir the pot. You feel like they're in your boat, but they're cutting holes in your boat. I mean, you know the type of people that I'm talking about. And here's what I know that people will disappoint you, but that God never will. And so I want to do my best to help you guys today. And so on Facebook this morning, I had posted this. I said, newsflash. People are going to disappoint you. They just are. They'll turn on you. They'll talk about you. They'll leave you wondering what in the heck has happened. But honey, it's them. It's not you. You're wasting so much precious time wondering what went wrong and how you could have done it better. Listen, I know that it hurts, but you're obsessing about the one who is against you when you have 99 others who are for you. So feel the disappointment, grieve the loss, and then give it to God and get on with it. You have a job to do, and this is a distraction. Please don't lose sight of that, sweet girl. And that was a word for someone this morning. And so what I know to be true is that the more you put yourself out there, both in life and in business, the more things like this will kind of start to pop up because it's really like a numbers game. And so when your platform is growing, you're going to be getting more private messages. You're going to be getting more social media comments. You're going to be getting more emails. And when you put yourself out there, it just makes you more vulnerable to the world. Friends, listen, this is why so many people don't put themselves out there. And so I just want to tell you, just woman to woman here, that first of all, you kick ass. Okay, I'm going to say that. I hope that there were no little kiddos listening. But the fact that you even are doing it just makes me so proud of you. And so I know that it can be shocking when you get that first private message, talking about your course, or that first person disappointed in a piece of furniture that they bought from you, or the person that just puts out in the open for the whole world to see a crappy Facebook comment. I know what that feels like. And I need for you to know that the bigger your platform gets, the more your platform grows, the more that is probably going to happen. And here's something I want you to remember, because usually what has happened with me in the past is I have thought, holy crap, what's happened? Like I try to be a decent person. I try to live my life in a really honorable way. Like what has just happened? And what I know to be true is that you can be the juiciest peach in the whole wide world. And there will still be some people out there who do not like peaches. So I want you to just think and marinate on that. Okay. So 5 different things that you can remember when you're getting negative comments, people complaining, asking for a refund, trying to discourage you, and when you're feeling discouraged. Okay, here's the 5 things that you can remember. And we're going to start with the biggest. And number 1 is that when God is for you, my sweet friend, who can be against you? That's in the book of Romans. Okay, so if you are doing what you're supposed to do, just know that you might just need to kind of put up with some of the other nonsense. Like if God is for you, it does not matter how many of them stand in line and oppose you. And I want you to also remember that if God is for you, every time he is taking you to a new level in your life and in your business, I love the Joyce Meyer saying, new level, new devil. I heard Joyce say that at a conference in St. Louis. I think I was pregnant with Easton. And he's 14. So I love that saying, new level, new devil. And I need you to know that God isn't as concerned about your business, friend, as he is about the growth that he is bringing about in you and through you in your business. Okay. So I think often God will adjust the heat just to grow us as individuals, just so we can get to a point where the things that people may say and the things that people may do, that they won't cripple us like they used to, that we'll keep going because we know that when God is for us, who can be against? Because we know that he's put something in us. And we have to be obedient to that call on our life, regardless of negative Facebook comments, regardless of private emails sent incognito to wound you, regardless of people on Instagram who DM you with advice for your life, regardless of all that. If God is for you, who can be against? Number 2, I want you to keep this in mind, that what people say about you says really more about them than it says about you. And that is the honest to goodness truth. Listen, I am convinced that when we are business owners and we are talking trash on other business owners, I am convinced that God does not honor that. I am convinced that he will not elevate business owners who are backbiting, trash talking, and trying to pull others down. I have seen it happen time and time and time again. So just know that if people are saying things about you, either privately or publicly, God's a really good accountant. I remember when my friend Sandy Krakowski first told me that once. God's a really good accountant. He will keep track of all of that and he will make it right. And so you can rest in just knowing that it says way more about them and their own hurts and their own heart and where they're currently at in their life and their walk with the Lord than what it says about you. The things that are coming out of their mouth are the things that they're actually hiding in the heart. And so as long as you know that you're keeping a pure heart, you let God deal with them. Number 3, thing that you need to remember if people are saying and typing things that are hurtful, okay? I want you to know that so often your purpose comes out of your pain. And so the only reason that I can sit here and do a podcast today and feel really compassionate for those of you who have recently reached out to me, and you know who you are. There's a couple of you that have reached out, and you're dealing with drama. You're dealing with people being mean. You're dealing with nonsense. And the only reason that I'm able to talk to you and try to advise you on how to handle that, and the only reason I'm able to do a podcast today is because I have been there and done that. And did it hurt while I was in the middle of it? Absolutely. Did it stink? Absolutely. Did it sting a bunch? It sure did. It sure did. And it still does when it happens. But I know that God uses the things that we walk through and the things that are painful for us. Our purpose often comes out of that. So lean into your emotions. I know it's so easy for people just to quote the movie and say, let it go. Honey, we weren't designed to just let it go, honestly. So what I would rather tell you to do is to really like feel the disappointment in what they did, feel the hurt of what they did, feel the pain of what they did, grieve the fact that there may be a lost friendship there, a lost business partner there, a lost employee there, grieve the fact that this didn't go down the way you wanted it to, grieve the fact that you hate that your inbox just made you feel anxious, grieve that. And then give the entire thing, both the people, the comments, the entire thing to the Lord, and get on with your life. Because at the end of the day, your purpose will often come out of that pain. And I want you to not lose focus of the journey that you're on and the call on your life. Number 4 thing for you to remember is to not focus on the one, because we most of the time have 99 that are cheering for us, and they are loving everything that you're doing and saying. And so often we get stuck on just that one person. And man, it's such a distraction, right? It's such a distraction because it's so easy for us just to lose sight of the 99 and just to think, what have I done? What did I say wrong? What image am I portraying that one person felt the need to reach out or tweet or complain or what have you? And I know that often if the enemy can't destroy us, he will do his best to distract us. You can tweet that. If the enemy can't destroy us, he'll do his best to distract us. So though that negative comment you got on social media, that bad review somebody put on your business, that random note that you received, that email from somebody you don't know, listen, that's a distraction, babe. It's a distraction. You need to figure out how to ignore that. And you also need to figure out that it is really an overstepping of boundaries. Here's what I have realized to be true in the last couple of years, especially on social media, is that people they aren't good with boundaries anymore. They type things that they would never say in real life, that they would never actually say to a person. And yet they get cocky on a keyboard. They're keyboard warriors. And it's unfortunate. And so don't focus on that one person. You've got 99 who love you. And the last thing is this. If your conscience is clean, if you feel like you've done the best thing that you can do for your client, if you feel like you've handled that in the most honorable way possible, if you feel like you have a pure heart before the Lord, honestly, do your best to try to feel it, grieve over it, and then to let it go and get on with things. Remember your purpose. Remember your purpose. And here's a couple of things that I just want to bring up. Those are all the things I want you to remember. If you're someone who's putting themselves out there on social media, on the internet, you are trying to work that business and you've, gotten some negativity thrown your way, or you just feel like you've gotten sucker punched, I want you to know that I understand, and I too have been there. And I wish that I could reach through this podcast microphone and just give you a big old hug. And I want you to know that I'm rooting for you. I'm literally rooting for you. And it's so normal, the stuff that you are walking through. I don't want you to be blindsided by it and think that you are all alone, because you are not. And the thing is, business can feel so lonely. And if you didn't listen to my episode on feeling lonely in business, then I want you to go re-listen to that. And one of the reasons that I have started my inner circle is for there to be a safe place for people to feel like A, they belonged, and B, that they could talk through things, and C, a place where I can coach them on mindset, because business is not all about growing your Instagram following or learning how Pinterest no longer wants you to use Board Booster Seabasket on Tailwind. Like, do those things matter? Absolutely. But 80% of your business is going on right in between your two ears. It's your mind. And it's the battlefield of the mind. And it's constantly getting past one hump in your life and your business and then having another one thrown your way to see if you're ready for the next level. And so just know that we are all on this journey together, and we are all walking through our own stuff in our own businesses. And so, friend, I don't want you to feel like you're alone. If there's any way that I can help, you can always send me an email to podcast@jenniferallwood.com. So listen, we're going to real quick read a fun little podcast review. Okay, so when I get these, I just grin ear to ear. And I just can't thank you enough for those of you who have taken time out of your busy lives to go over to iTunes and to leave us a review. Thank you. And so this review this week is from Trisha Allen. She's with the Barn Gifts and More. And this is what Trisha said. Thank you, Jennifer. I always listen to your podcast while I'm getting ready in the mornings, and it motivates me. Side note, Trisha, I also listen to podcast while I'm doing my makeup in the morning. Okay, so there you go. Trisha says she appreciates the podcast I did on menopause and business. And she too is going through early menopause and feels, why did I just say menopause? That was weird. It's menopause. But she said it's good to know she's not alone. She appreciates, I can't even talk, friends. She appreciates the transparency and the being real. I reminded her she's not crazy and it's going to be okay. Just laugh and take one day as it comes. I appreciate you. Trisha Allen with From the Barn Gifts and More. Trisha, thank you. I appreciate so much you leaving a podcast review. And if you haven't listened to my podcast on menopause, hey, you just might want to run on over and do that. Or you might want to send your husband or your kids or your neighbor the episode link. I hope that podcast episode was helpful. So listen, my friends, it's such a joy and an honor to be with you every single week on this podcast. Thank you for listening. Thank you for showing up and supporting both my business and the podcast. Love you much. Until next week, stay creative. Bye-bye. Hey friend, thank you so much for listening to the podcast again this week. I'm so honored that you're here and that you just listen week in and week out and that you share the Jennifer Allwood show with your friends and family. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hey, don't forget that you can subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, or if you're an Android user, go download the Stitcher app and you can subscribe there so that you know every single week when a new episode releases. Also, if you have any time to leave us a review, these reviews are super important in getting guests for the show and sponsors for the show. And so we'd appreciate it if you have just a second to leave us a review. That would be amazing. Thank you guys again for being here. And until next week, stay creative.